Hey there, thanks for tuning into DuckBricks. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising set. This is Zane's Dragon Power Spinjitzu Race Car. It is the first time in Ninjago history that a car can do Spinjitzu, so I'm very excited to showcase that on video. But of course, stay tuned to DuckBricks for not just reviews of this set, but of the entire LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising wave coming your way very, very soon, if not already. And so without further ado, let's jump up, kick back, whip around, and spin, and take a look at this set. Alright, so here we have 71791, Zane's Dragon Power Spinjitzu Race Car. It comes with 307 pieces and retails for $35 US with 4 minifigures. Now, we've already taken a very close look at all these minifigures in my minifigures mega review, which I published a few days ago, so do check that out if you want to take a closer look, but we're going to go through them very quickly right now just to showcase them all at once. Obviously, the set includes Zane. His heads-up display has a nice icy design to it, which does look very cool. You can rotate the head around so you can see what the eyes look like on the mask itself, and you can remove the armor just to see that face print, which is a really nice serious face print for Zane where he looks very determined or concentrated, and there's what that back expression looks like. Personally, for me, I am not the biggest fan of the way that these armor and mask items come together. I think they look okay. I definitely feel like they look better than some of the other ones. I just wish you could turn the heads and actually pose them. Cole uses some Earth-like powers on the sides of his head here, and this is what it looks like using the mask on the front like so. You can also remove the armor to see a look at the actual torso and back printing as well, with a very nice new expression for Cole, which is similar to the one that he had in Prime Empire, but at least a little bit different compared to stuff that we've gotten before, especially stuff that we've gotten for Cole, which usually is a little bit more serious. This one is a very fun and happy expression. Moving onwards from that, we have 2 members of Imperium. We have one of the specialized Royal Guards. This is a specialized elite black version of the General Golden Guard. He has a very goofy looking helmet. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the way the helmet turned out. It kind of looks like a frying pan to me, or they grabbed like some sort of a pan and just slapped it on their heads. Doesn't help that this piece literally is used as a frying pan in Ninjago City markets for a gigantic octopus, but I do like the graphic design on the torso and legs. The face looks really cool and menacing. I love how they're utilizing this brand new armor element, which is shared amongst all the members of Imperium, and that torso detail is really, really good with the metallic gold and orange printing, having a very slick color scheme. I also like how the weapon feels very menacing, utilizing the brand new finger elements introduced this year. I can imagine this spinning up, or maybe they're going to be using it to snatch baby dragons. Altogether, just a really cool looking figure. The other minifigure included is a general version of the Imperium Dragon Hunters wearing the gold armor here. Now this one, I love the way the helmet looks for this because it's a very beetle-like samurai-esque design, which is a very cool thing to have. I also really like this brand new dual-molded gunmetal gray and transparent orange blade piece, which you can also use as kind of a gun or hold it in a different way. It's just a cool piece to have in general and one of my favorite new Ninjago blade elements. Looking at the torso underneath that, you have some nice gold detail with almost a reactor in the center of the chest, which makes sense given that these are a very technologically advanced army, and with the helmet off, that's what the face print looks like. And I like how they printed the back, even though they didn't have to. Otherwise, setting aside the figures, this is essentially what the set itself looks like. Now, there are a couple of different villain stands where you can essentially place the minifigures on the stands, and they do spin around like many of the other Imperium vehicles and stuff that they've included for the Imperium things in the wave to allow you for better play and allow them to kind of be ricocheted around and knock around. You also have a little Imperium drone which kind of wobbles on a microphone at the bottom to allow it to spin. But obviously, the main part of the set is the Dragon Power Spinjitzu Race Car, which we can take a look at right now. Now, from the get-go, this feels very reminiscent of other Ninjago sets that we've gotten in the past, namely Scott's Car from Prime Empire. This feels very much like a Scott's Car type of build, and initially when I first saw pictures of this and when I first was being shown this during a roundtable for LEGO Ninjago, I honestly wasn't that impressed because it felt like it had a cool color scheme and looked cool enough, but didn't feel like it did anything completely different outside of a normal Ninjago car. Well, I was proven wrong very quickly when this was pushed down and the wheels automatically moved up, which is very interesting. And let me show you exactly how this works, because this is a Spinjitzu car, and I'm kind of surprised it's taken Ninjago this long to give us something like this, but the way it works is it's utilizing the brand new spinner elements, where you can see them, the orbs right here, and you just give it a good old spin, and this whole thing will spin around and perform Spinjitzu. Now here's the thing. It doesn't roll that much, like, that's like 3 spins, and I'm spinning this as fast as I can. Like, I'm applying a lot of pressure. That's 2, and the thing with this is that, unfortunately, these gimmick pieces for the Dragon Energy Ball cores, out of the box, they're a little bit squeaky. As you can tell, they're kind of having a lot of friction. What you need to do to actually be able to play with them to loosen up the friction is repeatedly pop them in and out of the socket. Like, you need to do this in order to have the function actually work. I had to do this for the spinners, I had to do this for the launcher, for the Heatwave Dragon, which we're going to be reviewing shortly. And it's kind of annoying that, like, now, as you can see, the friction has loosened up a little bit, like it's not as squeaky as it was before, but out of the box, this is not something that works very well, and I feel like this could have used just a few more iterations in research and development or the R&D when making a new piece like this to really make it just so you don't have to pre-loosen the joint. Like, it feels very weird that I have to actually loosen the joint itself. Kids are not going to naturally do that. Like, I don't think kids are going to realize that they have to do this to make it roll smoothly. And so that fixes things a little bit, right? So that rolls a little bit better now after I pre-smoothed it out. So now, if we try it again, I'm gonna roll these wheels down. As you can see, the spin was clearly better there after I had actually loosened the joints. It is actually a night and day difference in terms of how this works, where you can see the spin is just so much better and more satisfying, and if you loosen them more, like if I sat here for 10 minutes and spent the next 10 minutes just going like this, I can guarantee you it would spin a lot better than it actually is right now. And that feels like kind of poor element design to me, that you actually have to do this. Like, once you do this, it works okay. It's not spectacular, but it works. But I don't like how I actually have to do that in order for the mechanism to actually work. Like, see, that was not even, I didn't even spin it that hard, and that was already way better than how it already was acting before. So, yeah, that's kind of the thing with this build. It really does require you to pre-loosen the joints, which is honestly not that great. Once you have them loose, it works fairly okay. Now, the reason why these are on turntables and spinners and they have these sharp edges is that the intent is for you to, they're kind of blocking your path and you're supposed to spinjitzu right into them. Let's see how that works right here. So I'm going to focus in on the villains, and they're supposed to go flying like that. I don't think the swords on the front of your car are supposed to go flying as well, but you know, that's kind of hazards of the job there, and that is a very satisfying thing. But it looks like we missed one, so let's go ahead and, oh, get that guy. Wow, I'm not good at aiming these. There we go. So that's how it's supposed to work. It's just kind of a fun play feature to allow you to knock around the minifigures and play with the car itself. And then once you're ready to have it be driving again, you just simply raise this up. This ratchet joint here keeps everything in place like so. And then it just drives around like a standard vehicle, which is a really fun thing to do. So definitely having an action feature in the form of a gimmick really did make my opinion on the set feel a lot better. I was really happy with the fact that it did have a gimmick and wasn't just a standard Ninjago car. It is certainly really interesting in the way that they've set it up, but I do feel that the function is inherently flawed because it is relying on these Dragon Energy core pieces, which frankly just don't really work that well out of the box. Pre-loosened up, they work better, but they don't work quite as well as I even was expecting them to, and that is a little bit disappointing. Now, seating Zane in the car itself, he doesn't actually have any piece to attach onto. He kind of just sits down there, and this is how that all is set up, so you can kind of see what he looks like. No windscreen or anything. Like, this is just kind of an open-air convertible type sports car or race car type of thing, which isn't that bad. I do like the overall design of it, but I do feel the play feature is flawed because it does rely on those pieces. Otherwise, I love the color scheme of the car itself. While the shaping is a fairly standard Ninjago vehicle, I do like the effort used to include these brand new lightning or ice pieces in transparent blue, which also are only seen in the Elemental Dragon versus Empress Mech in transparent yellow, so they are kind of exclusive to the set in trans blue. You have nice shaping using the A-frame plates to be able to angle these inwards, so these sharper bits at the front of the car, which is very cool. You have great detail in terms of the white transitioning to the azure for Zane's icy color scheme. Overall, this feels like an ice-themed vehicle, and I like how they did actually use these somewhat juniorized style of wheels to allow you to already accomplish very good turns, and it's just smart design to be able to have all the wheels lift up as once. That was very cool, and it's surprisingly simple. They're all just attached on a lift arm, and the lift arm just pulls backwards and lifts them up, and then you can allow the gimbal on the bottom of the car in gold there to do most of the spinning work for you. So overall, a very cool thing to get. I mean, you can see I'm spinning it now, and like, that ball's rolling, but this one isn't, like, not really. So yeah, not a really great mechanism in terms of utilizing those pieces. It was a very cool idea, but I definitely feel like the actual pieces themselves could have used a little bit more time in R&D. Otherwise, this is a fun build, and now we can probably come to concluding thoughts. So here's the thing. This set retails for $35 US, and that feels way too high for me. I feel like this is probably a $25 set, maybe $30 at most. $35 feels pretty high for what you get, and I'm a little bit disappointed because Ninjago used to be a really good way to be able to get really great builds and fun sets at pretty affordable prices. They did not used to charge a ton of money for Ninjago sets. Nowadays, I think LEGO has kind of gotten wise to the fact that Ninjago is really popular and they could charge kind of whatever they wanted and it will still sell, which is good for the theme. Like, I'm glad Ninjago is doing well. I'm happy for the theme that they are able to do stuff like this, but I also do kind of miss the days where Ninjago was just really great value all around. $35 for this feels like a victim of price hikes. It looks to me that this set was probably designed at the $30 price point, if I had to guess, and was raised to $35, which, if you put it that way, $5 more doesn't feel that bad, but looking at this, we've gotten a lot of cars like this in the past that are just $30 cars, so I think that since Ninjago has set a precedent for vehicles of this size and shape and stature to be only $30, it feels kind of weird that this one is $35. It's not that big of a deal. Again, it's only a $5 difference to what I actually think it should be priced at, but I think it's still something worth noting because this wave has not been the best in terms of pricing for the sets. Otherwise, this has been a really great set to play around with. I wish the function worked better out of the box, but with loosening, it does work, and it is satisfying to do Spinjitzu for a car. I think even ignoring the fact that I had to loosen the joints and all that sort of stuff, the fact that you can have a car do Spinjitzu is really funny. Like, that's a really fun idea. I like that they're able to finally integrate it as a very unique gimmick of the set, and it certainly is one of the most innovative Ninjago sets of the wave, which I was not expecting whatsoever when I first saw the pictures of the set, because it looked like just a normal car, but it is hiding a fun secret. So that is my review of the Dragon Power Spinjitzu Race Car. Alright, and with that we have summed up our look at Zane's Dragon Power Spinjitzu Race Car. That is a mouthful of a set name. They couldn't have removed one of the words there. I don't know. But of course, let me know what you think of the set down in the comments below. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? How do you think this ranks alongside the other LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising sets and alongside other Ninjago race cars in general? That about sums up this video. Thank you all so much for tuning into Duckbricks. Like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. And bye for now.